He's Tony. I'm Mike. Sweet 12 of the Action Bowl.
Week 12 of the Action Bowl sees Steven Seagal go up against Mel Gibson. One heavy weight and one heavy weight.
One a movie star heavyweight, the other one just heavy. So
let's just say that the caterer is the most important contract on a Seagal film these days. So Mike is going to be drawing for Mel Gibson. I am going to be drawing for the seventh Dan, Steven Seagal. Let's see what we got.
Bloodfather. I think I've seen this one, but I'm not sure. I think he's kind of like a derelict, deadbeat dad, and like the daughter pops back in out of nowhere because she needs some help with some shit. I don't remember it being an awful movie, so I mean, this depending on what Seagal pulls, this could be close.
This is virgin territory for me. I have never seen this film, so I've never even heard of this film. So I'm looking forward to it. At least I get to expand my Mel Gibson horizons just a little bit.
All right. And Steven Seagal.
I want the one in the back. All right. And Steven Seagal has pulled maximum conviction. That's right. Steven Seagal is partnering up with former WWE heavyweight champion Stone Cold Steve Austin. And this is we use the term action loosely on this one. I had seen this film, not recently, but I'm just going to say that I think that, remember how we talked about, we hoped that Mel Gibson would draw a good film and Steven Seagal would draw a bad film, and then we could have some really interesting color commentary? Wish granted.
Well, I don't know if this is like quality Gibson, but at the same time, I mean, it's Stone Cold. Wrestlers doing movies usually don't work out very well. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm still not 100% sold on The Rock as a movie star. I mean,
he's a movie persona.
He's something.
We're just going to leave it there. Just keep watching. Our commentary and our scores coming up next. So week 12 of the Action Bowl has Mel Gibson squaring off against Steven Seagal. Some would say that this is basically a high school bully beating the crap out of the nerdy kid. Mel Gibson drew a movie I'd never heard of called Bloodfather, and Steven Seagal drew Maximum Conviction.
With Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's the bottom line.
Because Stone Cold says so. So I guess we're going to talk about Maximum Conviction first.
We can. This movie sucks dick. Not going to be around the bush on this one. The best part about this movie was Stone Cold. He actually had me chuckle a couple times, especially when he got his ass kicked by the girls. Like,
what the fuck, baby? Holy shit. My kind of woman.
damn, I think I just met my future ex-wife or some shit like that.
Yeah.
That was quite comical. Steven Seagal, oh my God, boring as hell. And who didn't help was, what's his name?
I need your password to open doors.
I don't have a password.
Then I'm gonna find someone who does.
Ain't the Cruisers,
Yes.
Michael Parr.
Yes. Dark side's coming down, nothing is real. On the dark side. Yeah. Him as the big bad was like the lamest shit I've ever seen in my life. And like, there was the one guy who, I guess he was a CIA bookkeeper or whatever, and like they just decided to arbitrarily torture him.
Which finger? No!
they cut his finger off, and they do all kinds of for no reason. I guess it's supposed to show off how tough he is. But this guy's like a little wormy dude who's like, I'll do whatever you want. And I'm like, oh, all right, fine. Well, we're going to take your finger and cut it off. This movie is, okay, first off, Steven Seagal barely moves in this movie. He's wearing this body armor that makes him look like a turtle.
Yes, thank you.
And then like every action scene that he's in, like there's the fight with the crazy inmate in the yard. And he's like having such a hard time moving that they had to edit and make it look action-packed. And it's just,
every one of his fight scenes is edited to fucking the nth degree.
And
it's so funny.
It's hilariously awful. And then like every time there's a gunfight, apparently don't bother giving Steven Seagal a gun because he can't hit shit anyway. I mean, he's like supposed to be this weapons expert badass, and he's like firing guns all over the place, and he doesn't hit anything until he's down to like his last bullet.
Well, here's the thing. He holds the gun so like the butt of the stock's not even on his shoulder. It's like over his fucking head. No wonder he can't have a fucking goddamn thing. Can't hold the gun right.
And he's got a flashlight and a laser sight on it, and he still can't hit anything.
Yeah.
But in fairness, the bad guys can't hit anything either. So really, it's just like a lot of really loud noisemakers going off through the whole thing.
Yeah. And it's CGI flashing for like every gunshot.
Yes. And the whole like build up to like why they're going after this lady and everything that's going on, it's stupid. It's just, she has some sort of CIA data tracker device that's been injected under her skin, and if her heart stops, then it will erase the data that's on it. So they've got to get her out of the prison alive, and they have this female inmate who's supposed to be befriending her to help, take her in her confidence and then help kidnap her. It's dumb. It's just dumb.
It's flipping awful. It's absolutely awful. There's only a couple redeeming things again. Stone Cold.
Goddamn, which one of you mother killed my future ex-wife?
And the bad girl. I actually enjoyed the bad girl. She's fun.
Yeah,
Watching
she
her
was fun.
kick ass was pretty entertaining.
So
Job.
The funny thing about it, there's the young guy who's like one of the tactical officers that works for Steven Seagal, and you don't actually get to see him do an action sequence until about like 2/3 of the way through the movie, and he's good. He's actually a really good martial artist, and his fight scenes are really good. And I guess that's why they're buried at the end of the film, so that Steven Seagal doesn't look completely incompetent. It's so that no one confuses the notion that Steven Seagal is supposed to be the hero of this film with this much buffer, younger, athletic guy who can actually do stunts. So this movie is fucking awful. We watched it so you don't have to. This is the definition of suffering for your art. Mike, tell me your scores.
This should come to no surprise to anybody. Plot 2, style 3, fun 3.
And that's a total of?
Doesn't fucking matter.
8. Just for everybody that's watching. Now I'm just going to say this. We might have had a bit of a back and forth last week when we had Stallone face off against Jean-Claude Van Damme. But this week, we're almost perfectly in sync. The plot, I gave it a 4.
Generous.
Very generous, and I'm going to admit that it's generous, and I'm not normally one that is generous, but from a writing standpoint, there was a script here. It's just they had the wrong cast, and by wrong cast, I mean Steven Seagal. So, for the style, I gave it a 3. Why? Because when you get to the end of the film, the action sequences that are good are buried in there, but every time badass Steven Seagal shows up, his weak, lame ass, can barely move, turtle walking, I'm beating everybody. It's so lame. It's insultingly bad. And for the fun, 3. So my total score on this one is a very generous 10. And
Fair
that
enough.
is generous. So neither one of us cared for it, but stay tuned. We're going to talk about Mel Gibson, Bloodfather, coming up next. And our next film for this week, week 12, is Mel Gibson in Bloodfather. And this one, kind of surprising, because in case you're wondering who his daughter was, if you're like, wait, I recognize her, she now plays Starfire on The Boys.
Starlight.
Sorry, my bad. Starlight from The Boys.
Starfire is DC.
Yes, but
You should know that.
I do know that.
Shame on you.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Deduct a point from your life.
All right, anyway, but...
Anyways. So, I actually enjoyed this movie. I've seen it before, but I forgot actually how decent it actually was. And it's a good return to form for Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
And Starlight, I don't remember what her name is. Doesn't matter. She does a good job in this movie. William H. Macy, whatever. He's just kind of
He's William H. Macy,
Yeah.
just like he is in everything else he's ever in.
And
so.
The guy that Quentin Tarantino loves to put in for
the
bit
sheriff.
parts.
Yeah,
Yes. He plays the scummy, awful father figure for Mel Gibson. And, it's pretty decent. But I will say this. Overall, the relationship with Gibson and Starlight, I'm going to call her Starlight for us to think because I can't remember her name is in this thing, was believable.
I don't even know where I am, and there are only 5 channels on your TV.
You swivel these ears so maybe get channel 11.
100%. I bought the relationship 100%. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The action scenes, and there was a lot of action scenes in this movie. And there were some really good creative action scenes.
Yes, there was.
Especially when they run through the trailer and knock the fucking trailer over.
Yes, that was totally unexpected.
Hang on.
And I can't actually think of a film that I've ever seen that in.
Me either.
So that's points number 1. But point number 2, like all the shootouts are really impressive.
Yes.
This movie, this struck me. I again went in knowing nothing about this movie, and I'm having the same impression that you. This is not Mel Gibson's normal kind of film, and he's not playing a totally likable guy. He's playing a very flawed guy, but he's playing a guy that's trying to get his life back together.
Yeah.
He's a recovering alcoholic. He's actually out on parole. He's working as a tattoo artist, and he's in this shithole trailer park where everybody that lives there is a parolee as well, and it just feels right for him at this stage in his career and what he had going on. The daughter's name, I want to say it's Miranda, is the character's name.
That's not right, but
something like that. But
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, his daughter disappeared, and he's been obsessed with actually trying to hunt her down.
What now? I am done, John. 30 grand is enough for a reward. I can't do this every time you have some stupid new plan about Lydia. I have a life. I have people over.
What he doesn't know is that she fell in with some, goons that work for a drug cartel, and she gets in trouble with those said goons, and she goes running back to her father.
Yeah, well, she shoots her boyfriend, who is the head of that little goon squad.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
and
pretty
she
much.
knows she's a deep shit, so that's why she goes looking after him.
And so they're on the lam for the rest of the film, and they are trying to basically get by. It's weirdly compelling. It's completely relatable. Nothing is over the top. The action sequences are great. I enjoyed the hell out of this.
Me too.
I really did.
Yeah, me too. Shockingly. I mean, I should say shockingly, but I just wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, I don't expect this much depth character-wise from an action film for the most part. And this works on both levels. This is most definitely an action film, but it most definitely works as a character study as well. So, shit, I'm excited to hear your scores on this one, because I'm just going to say this right now. It's on Hulu. Watch it. It's actually really good. But, it is what it is. Let's hear it.
Plot is a 6. It perfectly serviceable. I mean, there's nothing groundbreaking or earth-shattering about it, but it's just rock solid. Style is a 6. There's again nothing, earth-shattering or groundbreaking or whatever. It's there and fun. It's a 6. So yes, 666, number of the beast. There you have it.
And that's an 18 from you. So I'm going to tell you this movie struck me the right way, and I'm going to tell you this right now. This movie is actually the best film that we've watched in the last several weeks. For the plot, I gave it a 9. This movie is written, and everything that every character does interrelates to everything else that's going on in the film, and none of it is done in a way that is contrived. And that's what I mean when I say this film works as a character piece. It works as an action film, and yet I can't categorize it as either or. It is the perfect blend. I really dug this movie. I really did, and I'm going to just say it right now. This movie has balls. This movie was a blast. I enjoyed the hell out of this. So for the style, I gave it a 7. It had some budget limitations, but it used every penny that it had to maximum effect. And I've seen stuff in this film I've never seen in a movie before. That's rare for an action film. And I'm going to tell you what really kind of did this for me. The last fight scene in the car, when they're in the back seat. Yeah. That was great. And that was the exclamation point towards the end of this movie. So for the fun, I gave it an 8. I enjoyed the shit out of this film. So for me, I gave this a 24. And if I'm not mistaken, this is either the highest scored film for the Action Bowl or it's tied for the highest scored film for the Action Bowl. But not only do I really enjoy this film and score it highly, I recommend you watch it or buy it or whatever. But we're going to do our score recaps. We're going to actually let you know who the winner and the loser is. That's all coming up next. So week 12 of the Action Bowl, the last round of the regular season, it winds down. Steven Seagal, maximum conviction, even with the help of Stone Cold Steve Austin and a folding chair. It ain't going to do him much good. You scored it an 8. I scored it a 10. That gives us an average score of 9. And then for Mel Gibson and Bloodfather,
scored it an 18.
You scored it an 18. I scored it a 24. So that gives us an average score of 21. So really, I think what it all boils down to is you might, we need appropriate zinger here. You know what? I don't know. Let me think about this one for a second.
You know, not everything needs a fucking zinger.
You know what?
Sometimes the beatdown is good enough, and this is a fucking beatdown.
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
And I want to say this, and while I scored this at 18, you scored it a 24. I am totally justifying your 24. Like, I cannot really pick it apart. I mean, it is a damn solid plot. The style is great, and at the end of the day, it is a whole lot of fun. So yeah, we haven't done this yet, but yeah, this will recommend for me too from the Action Bowl.
There you go. And that all being said, Steven, it's I don't know. Just stop. So join us next week when we start the Final Four of the Action Bowl, which is leading up to the big main event. Catch us then.